Boker Tov, today's daf is Daf Samach Tes in Nidrim. Daf Samach Tes. We're at the fifth line. This is where we left off yesterday. Now remember, we talked about a father or a husband breaking his wife's neder. Father can break the neder till she's 12 and a half, and husband can break the neder forever, but he can only break a neder that he heard that she made after they got married. That's a full marriage. Our parak is mostly talking about, at this point, about if she's an amarosa, if she's up until the age of 12 and a half and she's betrothed, she has a fiance. So we said that both the father and the husband have to break the neder together. It doesn't mean together in the same moment, but they have to both break the neder without any interruption of a confirmation in between. Meaning, if either one is makayim the neder, confirms the neder, then it's valid, and that's it. You don't break it anymore. We'll talk about today, can you break it the same day? The same day you were makayim it, could you also break it? So again, when we say break it, we mean cancel it. Breaking the neder don't mean violating it, but we mean that canceling the neder. As it said, the husband or the fiance or the father cancels the neder going forward, not lamafreya. These are the points we made yesterday. And we said also that a husband can only break a neder that's either beina lebeina, something that affects their relationship, or something that affects inui nefesh, some affliction. If you start making a neder about a game or about some silliness, then that husband and the husband and the father cannot break those kinds of nedarim. But of course, you could go to the rabbi to be mater neder. Boy Rava, the fifth line of Daf Samach Tes. Yesh she'ela b'hakam o ein she'ela b'hakam. So we said, how are you makayim the neder? You confirm the neder either by confirming and say, yes, okay, I agree, it's a good neder. Your husband says that's a neder, I agree with it, and it's a neder. Or he doesn't say anything till the next day. If he's quiet, that's also being makayim the neder. Let's say he was makayim the neder, then he changes his mind. He first says, okay, he wants to be nice to her, she makes a neder, and he's makayim the neder. And now, when you're makayim the neder, when you confirm the neder, it's in a way, it's like making a neder. It's like, confirming the neder. It's like, yes, you're establishing the neder. Until the husband hears about it, or the father, whichever case it is, it's sort of in limbo, right? We don't know if the neder will be confirmed or won't. If a regular man makes a neder or a woman makes a neder and she's not married, the neder is a neder, and that's it. You have to go to a rabbi to be mater neder. But if a daughter up to the age of 12 and a half or a wife makes a neder, it all depends what the husband's going to do. So it's in limbo. Now, when he's makayim, it's like he's making a neder. So you can be shoel on the neder too. You can go to the rabbi to be mater his kiyum. So he said, "Boy, Rabbi, yesh she'ela b'hakam or yesh she'ela b'hakam." Can you be shoel on the hakama? Just like you can be shoel on the neder. Hakama is a way of confirming the neder. It's also like a neder. Can you be shoel on that? Imtim tzalomer yesh she'ela b'hakam. And if you would say that there is such a thing as being shoel on the hakama, usually the Rambam paskins like the imtim salomer in most cases. So here in this case, yeah, hakama is a kind of a confirmation, is like making a neder. So you can be shoel on that. You go to Talmud Chacham Mater. Imtav yeshel b'hakam yeshel b'hofer o ein shel b'hofer. Can you be shoel on that? If you cancel the neder, can you retract that by going to the rabbi and can be shoel on that? Now, the Ran explains that Boy Rabbi says yesh she'ela b'hakam. That part is pretty straightforward. Hakam is a kind of a neder, so it can be shown that. If you be shown that, can be shown on the hafara. So he says the question of hafara is hafara has no place with being. There's no she'ela on that. Hafara is canceling it. The whole idea of being shoel on a neder, we talk about hataris nadarim and the reasons you can give charata, right? Or you can't be shoel on. According to the Chachama, you can't be shoel on nolad, on a new circumstance that wasn't here till now. So we had that whole discussion, but that's on a neder or a shvua, right? So you could say hakam is like that too, but afara, canceling neder, and I want to retract my cancellation. Where do we find such a thing? So really, it doesn't make sense. L'chora says the Ran. Near Bain says the Ran dafagav the behefer lo shach she'ela the bishlam hakam ke'ein neder. It's like a neder. Aval afara, we're right in the middle of the page in the Ran on the left side. Aval afara lo, afilu achim yiboyla and yesh she'ela b'hefer. Why mishum? Because afara hakama are juxtaposed to one another. So since you say by hakama you could be shoel, maybe hafara too, even though it's not logical that you should be able to be shoel to retract and ask ataras nedarim on your hafara, but maybe because there's a hekesh between hafara and hakama. So just like you can cancel, then just like you can be shoel on the confirmation, maybe you should be able to show on the cancellation too. Tashma, back in the Gemara about halfway down on the page now. Tashma very simple. You can be shoel on hekem because hekem is like making a netter, and you can't be shoel on a farah because cancellation is not a netter. Nothing to be shoel on. Period. Boy Rabba, we're going to have a lot of questions that Rabba asks that raises today. Boy Rabba. We're now 5 lines from the bottom of the page on Samach Tesem Al for those who are joining us now. Boy Rabba, Kaim Lachi. Let's say he was Mekayim twice. It's like making a shvua twice. We had this before. If I swear something and I swear I'm going to eat this, and I swear again. So we said, once you swear, you're already able to do that. And Nishbar al mitzvah is to be mezares you to do it, but you can't have one shvua chal another shvua because you're already mushba ba'omei. It's like I swear I'm not going to put on tefillin. You can't swear you're not going to put on tefillin. You can make the tefillin also to you with a netter, but you can't swear you're not going to tefillin because you're already mushba. You already have a shvua. You're supposed to put the tefillin on. You were mushba ba'omei b'har Sinai. So here the question is: if I made one shvua, I was mekayim twice. Boy, Rabbi, kaim lachi. He said mekayim to you, mekayim lachi a second time. The nishal al hakam rishona, and then he was shoel on the first hakam. First in the morning, he says, "Yeah, I confirm it." Then he confirmed it again. And then he was shoel on the first hakam. Why would he do that? Okay, whatever his reasons were, but he was shoel on the first hakam. And as he went to be mater netter on the first hakam, what's the rule? Tashma damarabba in nishal rishona shniya chalala, as we said before by a shvua. If I swear I'm going to eat the orange, and then I swear I'm going to eat the orange a second time. So the second shvua, what happens? The second shvua like nothing. It's meaningless. It just falls away. Or is it suspended? It can't be chal now. Why? Because I'm already shvua. I already have a first shvua on it. But once the first shvua goes away, because I was shoel on the first netter, the second one can be chal, and that's what he says here too. Initial rishon here, 2 shvuas, shniya chal. And the Ran over here says, take a look at the Ran about 7 lines from the bottom of the page in the Ran on the left side. So I'm not going to eat something. The second one's chal. Boy Rabba, back in the Gemara, 2 lines from the bottom of the page in the Gemara. Boy Rabba, kaim lachi. Well, here we're going to get to the more complicated ones, right? We understand now you can't be shoel on hafara, and if you were mekayim twice and you're shoel on the first one, second one's chal. Boy Rabba, kaim lachi umufa lachi. He says like this. Now the 2 things you have to understand something are sort of contradictory to one another, right? If I confirm it, I'm confirming it. If I'm canceling it, I'm canceling it. The husband or the father, respectively, has the ability to do that. They don't have to have a reason, by the way. By a Taras Nedarim, when you go to the rabbi, you say, well, I regret it. Had you known such and such, had you known this was going to be, would you know? Okay, I wouldn't have made it. Okay. So it turns out you never really meant to make the netter, and the netter is a no l'mafreya. That's by Taras Nedarim. But by a husband or a father canceling the netter, again, we said he can only cancel under the circumstances we so far described, and if it's beina lebeina, and if it's nefesh. But when he breaks it, he can just break it. I don't have to give a reason. I'm breaking it, right? That's breaking a farah. I come also, you can confirm it. But the 2 things, you can't do both, right? Can you confirm it and cancel it? Well, either one or the other. The 2 things are contradictory. Let's say he says this strange lashon. Boy, Rabba, kaim lachi, I want to be mekayim it, umufa lachi, and I'm breaking it. And I only want to confirm it if I'm also canceling it. Now that seems crazy, right? Why would he do that? But he's doing that. We're trying to figure out what does he want to do? He says, I'm confirming it, but I'm canceling it, and I don't want it to be confirmed unless the cancellation works. What's the deal here? So the Ran has a lengthy explanation here. He says there's many different tries way to understand this, and he says Rabba understands that there's no way that you can confirm it. If he says I'm confirming it, I'm canceling, but I only want the confirmation to be effective if I'm canceling it. So certainly the confirmation cannot be effective. Why? Because he says, so we're going to give a case later on. Hopefully we'll get there today when he says, look, I want to be mekayim it for 1 hour. you made the neder now at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I want to come for 1 hour, and then I want it to be canceled. That you could understand because he said it for a specific period of time. But normally confirmation means you confirm it for all time. So if you confirm it until you go to the rabbi, whatever, but you can confirm it. So here the question is this: says the Ran on Amid Beis, and the top of the Ran on Amid Beis, long Ran over here. He says, he says like this: if the cancellation is effective, so hakama lo chayla, then you can't cancel it because he said, I only want the confirmation to take place if the cancellation takes place. So obviously, if the cancellation takes place, then you weren't confirming it. The second line, if you say that the cancellation doesn't take place, then the confirmation also doesn't take place. Because what was his language? I don't want it to be confirmed unless it's canceled. Unless it's canceled. So what do you say? You say over here, it's clear if it's canceled, then it can't be confirmed because you say, I'm canceling, I'm confirming it, I'm canceling it. So if it's canceled, so it's not confirmed because the cancellation knocks off the confirmation. And if the cancellation doesn't work, the confirmation doesn't work either because he said, I only want it to be confirmed if it's canceled. So it's clear that it can't be confirmed because he says, I want it to be confirmed and I want it to be canceled, but I don't want it to be confirmed unless it's canceled. So if it's canceled, then it's not confirmed because the cancellation knocks off the confirmation. And if it's not canceled, then it's not confirmed either because he said, I don't want it to be confirmed unless it's canceled. So it's clear that the confirmation is not there. Therefore, the Ran goes on in the fourth line from the top page. But his question is about cancellation. Why? What's the cancellation? So he goes on in the narrow lines of the right side and the Ran, the fifth line from the top of the page in the Ran. Since he said first, I'm confirming it and then I'm canceling it. Mashma the asni the techel afara basar. He means to say that the cancellation shall only take place after the akama. V'lo techel afara elim kein kam lakama. I want the cancellation to take place after the confirmation. Well, you already just explained that the confirmation can't take place, so therefore the cancellation can't take place either, right? So basar v'lo techel afara elim kein kama. Therefore, neither one is chal. In other words, nothing is chal. Why did he say it now? Why did he say, I don't want the afar to be chal unless the hakama is chal? Because he just said it. He said it in this way that he doesn't want the hakama to be. He says, I don't want the hakama to be there unless the afar is. I don't want it to be confirmed unless it's canceled. So because he said it that way, but the confirmation he mentioned first and the afara second, so do you say hakama for sure can't be here? We already explained, but the afara also can't be there because once he confirmed it, he can't cancel it. And he mentioned that first. That's the question. Do you say, since he said hakama first and then he said afara, so he didn't say, I don't want that far to be chal unless that comes. So he said, I don't want that kama to be chal kind of far. But lost now mimcha lo techel param kein chal kama mishum lechi aktim kayim mishum yakim kayim lechi lemufa lechi samach alishne da kama chal liberation. So therefore, it could mention that. But like Lakavullah, he doesn't want it to be held. He doesn't want the afar to be held back by that kama. So he said, I want to come in that afar. Actually, he's afraid that the kama will be so strong that Rav Shapiro won't leave any place lafara. In other words, he's very certain that he wants to be chal, but he wants to be chal after the akama. He says, I don't want the akama to be chal. I don't want that akama to be chal unless the afara is chal, right? So he said that akama can't be chal, can't be effective. Why? Because if the afara is chal, then it knocked off the akama, and if the afara is not chal, then the akama can't be chal. But the question, so what's the question? Is the afara chal? Did he break it? Do you say that no? Since he mentioned hakama first and then afara, and since the hakama is not chal, the afara is not chal, right? He only wants the afara to be there after the hakama because he said kaim lechi umufa lechi. The hakama shouldn't be there unless the afara is there, but he mentioned the hakama first. So since the hakama is not chal, maybe the afara is not chal since he mentioned it afterwards. O Dilma, the Ran says right before the lines get wide. O Dilma and Edom umufa lechi basar kaim lechi. Lav B'Teichel Afar Bas doesn't mean to say that the Afar should be after the Akama. And since the Akama is not there, the Afar can't be Chal either. You can't say both at the same time, right? We say Shema B'Zocher B'Dibur Echad, like we say every Friday night, right? But people can't say two things at one time. And therefore, since he can't say two things at one time, but he really wanted that Afar to be Chal. He's more makbid about the Afar Kabbat Techel the Amr. L'boy Techel Akama Elam Ken Afar. So he's more makbid. He really wants the Afar to be Chal. So that's his question over here. The Ran explains that sure the Akama can't be Chal, but the question is the Afar Chal? Can the Afar be Chal? Because do you you say not? What's the Afar to say not? Because he said first Akama, then Afar. And the Akama is not there, therefore the Afar is not there. Or do you say no? He really meant to say, he meant to emphasize the Afar. He just couldn't say both at the same time. That's the question, the way the Ran learns the question. And what's the answer? What's the answer? So now we'll see the top of the page in the Gemara on Samach Tesman base, the top of the page, Toshma. Famous machlokas we've had many times, but Plukta, Rav Meir of Rav Yossi. Famous machlokas Rav Meir and Rav Yossi did Tanan. I say you have an animal that's kadosh, right? And or let's say you have two animals. Let's say you have an animal which is an ola and an animal which is a shlomim. Two different kinds of kedushin. Ola is kachim kachim, shlomim is kachim kal. You have an animal over here that's A, which is an ola, and you have B, which is a shlomim. Then you have a third animal C. And I say you're not supposed to do this, but you say I raise a tamura, right? You want to say that C should take the place of A. Normally, when you do that, you're not supposed to lo yomir. But if you do that, it does B, the second one or the third one, whatever, takes the kedusha of the first one, but they would both remain kadosh. That's the rule, right? Tamura. So let's say he says this animal C should be the tamura of the ola and tamura of shlamim. Well, it can't be. Can it be both? Can it be both? You can't have one animal with two different kedushas. If you say everybody agrees, as we'll see, if you say I raise a tamuras ola u shlamim, number C should be the tamura of both A and B. A is ola, B is a shlamim. So what do? You have an animal now. You can't do anything. Is it an ola shlamim? It's a mixture. So what do? You wait till it gets a mum, and you sell the animal. With half the money you bring an ola, half the money you bring a shlamim. That's what you do. But let's say he didn't say it like that. He says, I raise a tmuras ola, tmuras shlamim. I want C to be a tmura for ola, and I want it to be tmuras shlamim. He said it like that. He didn't say tmuras ola u shlamim. He said, tmuras ola shlamim. Harezu tmuras ola. The Meir says tfos lashon rishon. Since he didn't say harezu tmuras ola u shlamim, he said harezu tmuras ola. So it's an ola. You get the first one. Rav Meir. Rav Yossi says, no. You can't say two things at one time, right? He could have said tmuras ola shlamim. But maybe he thought that if he doesn't say Tmuras Ola, Tmuras Shlamim, it doesn't work. You got to say Tmuras Ola, Tmuras Shlamim. He thought if you say Tmuras Ola Shlamim, maybe that doesn't work. You have to say Tmura on each Kedusha. So Rabbi Yossi says, no, Imakach Neskaven. We'll question him if that's what he wanted to do. He wanted C to have both the Kedusha of A and B. Imakach Neskaven Metchil, that was his kavanah, that was his intention. Since he can't say two things at one time, Varav Kayamah. That's a machlokas Rabbi Yossi and Rav Meir, right? Remember, we've had this before. Rav Meir says Tfos Lashon Rishon, because he could have said, he didn't say Tmuras Ol Shlom, he says the Tmuras Ol Shlom, so the first one's Chal, right? He should have said it differently. Rav Meir says, no, he just thought he had to say it that way. And since he can't say two things at one time. But I feel Rav Meir, even Rav Meir Lo Kamar, why do Rav Meir say it's the C is only Ola, it's only Tmur of the first one, not the second one, not the mixture? Ella, he didn't say it like that. If he would have said, even according to Rav Meir, if he said, Tmuras Ola, Tmur Shlamim, and I don't want it to be a Tmura of Ola unless it's also Shlamim. I only want it to be if the other Elam. Why did Rav Meir say he only gets the first one? Because he didn't say I want them both to be what we call interdependent. I only want one to be work of the other. The lo kamar lo techazu elam kein chalazu avahacha dama lo techala kama elam kein chalafar. But over here we said I only want the kamar chalaf the hafar is chal. From there mamu moda the hafara chala. The hafara is chal over here. And according to the Ran, so you see, according to the Ran, the point is he meant to really say I meant to emphasize the hafara. I don't want it to be hakama and then hafara. Hakama certainly can't be chal, because I said I don't want the kama unless the hafara is there. So he really means to emphasize the hafara. So he means to say that it's broken, I'm canceling it, and it would be canceled. So that's the proof. So we have this question is answered as we answered the other questions so far, right? So far we answered the questions. Can you be shoel on the kama? You can be shoel on the kama, you can be shoel on the far? No, you can't be shoel on the far. if you're makayim it twice and you're showing the first one, the second one chal, yeah, the second one's chal, it's like a shvua. And now in this question, if he says kaim l'chi muflachi v'lo techel kaman k'afara, he really means to say, he wants to emphasize the afara, because he said, I only want the kaman to be if the afara is there, meaning he's emphasizing the afara, and therefore the afara is chal. Even according to Rav Meir, there would be no machlok between Rav Meir and Rabbi Yossi in our case. Rav Meir and Rabbi Yossi are only saying when he said about animal C, harezu tmuras ola tmuras shlamim. Rav Meir says, you take the first one, Fos Lashon Rishon, said the first one. He didn't say tmuras ola u shlamim. Rabbi Yossi says you can't say both at the same time, and he thought he had to say the word tmura on both of them. So that's why then it is a tmura for both. And like we said, you wait till it gets a moment, sell it, and divide the money. But if even Rav Meir would agree that if he said I only want one to be chal, the other one's chal, you would also say that they would both agree. Meir and Rabbi Yossi would both agree. He says, "Harezu tmuras ola ushlamim," and I don't want it to be an ola unless it's also a shlam, and I don't want it to be a shlam unless it's an ola. Everybody would agree that it's both, and therefore, what do? You wait till it gets a mum, and you sell it. You bring for half the money, you bring an ola, half the money, you bring a shlam. Another question, boy Rabba, kayim umufra lechi b'vasachas mao. What happens if he says it at one time? Now, what do you say? He says, what he says it, not he says it one time. He says, I want it to be confirmed and canceled at the same time. Does that make any sense? No. We said before, if he's makayim it in the morning, right? Once you're makayim it and you wait till the next day, or you say nothing and you wait till the next day. You say nothing and you wait till the next day, it's also makuyim. You can't break it. Once you're makayim it, you can't break it. You can go to the rabbi, but he can't break it. In the empowerment that the husband or the father has the ability to break it at his own volition without any reasoning or anything like that. It's only when he heard about it that day he can break it or he can confirm it. If he confirms it and he waits till the next day, then it's already confirmed. If he confirms it and he breaks it an hour later, meant to say maybe I'm confirming it today and an hour later he cancels it. We'll see, maybe that works. But over here, he says, I'm confirming, I'm canceling at the same time. What happens? So which one is it? What happens over here? So here the Ran says, so argues they both can't be chal at the same time. You can't confirm and cancel. The two things are contradicting. See, once you break it, everybody agrees with this. Once you break the netter and cancel the netter, the husband cancels. Then he said, then she said, oh, please, I wanted it to be a netter, Hey, she can make a netter again, and he can make a new one. But he says, please, he can't take it back, because once it's canceled, it's gone. Like the Mefarshim said, there's nothing to confirm. If I say I confirm your oath and you didn't make an oath, what's there to talk about? Once he cancels it, it's gone. So there's nothing to confirm. So and once he confirmed it, he can't break it either. If he confirmed it, I'm confirming it, period. Can't break it. We're at the Ran 5 lines from the bottom of the page. Maybe each one is chayil first. Since neither one was before, do you say when it's basachas, when it happened at the same split second, that each one is like it was there first, and then the other one can't be chayil? Or do you say, no, since neither one was really before the other, maybe since you say, since the afara was not before, maybe it's a confirmation. In other words, what do you say with this now? Maybe since he mentioned first, Ron doesn't say that like that, but it seems to be since he mentioned first, he says, I want it to be confirmed and broken. Again, what's the question? Boy Rabba, in the Gemara, 5 lines from the bottom page in the Gemara, Boy Rabba, Kayim umufr lechi, I am confirming and breaking it to you basachas. I'm saying it basachas. That's how the Ran has the girsa, like we have it in our Gemara. I'm confirming and I'm breaking it to you b'vasachas at one time. So what's the deal? Do you say since they contradict one another and neither one's chal before the other, nothing happens? Or do you say no? He mentioned Hakama first. Once he mentioned Hakama, then you can't break it. Upashtin, and what's the answer? Says the Gemara, Tashma, Dama Rabba, Kol Sha'ena, he takes out the word davar. Kol Sha'ena b'zachar zeh, if you cannot do something consecutively, you can't do them simultaneously or concurrently. I feel basachas eino. What's the case over there? A man wants to marry Schwartz's daughter. Schwartz has two daughters. If he marries one, can he marry the other one? No, not when the other one's alive. Kedusha is not chal. You can't marry. Even if he has Leah and Rachel, he marries Leah, and then if he wants to marry Rachel, he gives her a ring. It's a chal. It doesn't work, right? If it creases, it doesn't work, right? So it doesn't work one after the other. Let's say he says to Schwartz, "I'm giving you two rings here, or a big ring that's good for both, or I'm giving you $1,000, buy two rings with it, and with this, I want to marry both daughters at the same time." So what's the deal there? It doesn't work. That's what we say. Tashmad Amar Rabba Kol She'enim, since you can't marry them consecutively. If he married Rachel first, he can't marry Leah. If he married Leah first, he can't marry Rachel, right? Can't marry them. Afil basachas eino doesn't work at the same time either. So here too, since you can't have hakama after hafara, and you can't have hafara after hakama. Once you mekayim it, that's it. Once you break it, that's it. Doesn't work consecutively either. And the Ran learns. Take a look at the Ran, 4 lines from the bottom of the page. Like the case I just gave, he married two sisters, keeping the Lamotzi Kanshin, since he can't marry them, I can't marry them consecutively, even concurrently or simultaneously, also like a Lachad Minai or something, there's no condition at all. Notice you don't say, well, if I gave you $1,000 for your two daughters at the same time, it's a suffix. Well, you can't marry, it's a suffix. Maybe each one is H. No, it's not nothing at all. Hachanami, like the spooky about Kama, about far cloud, Umatsi Basi Hachalefer, and afterwards he could break a Lukuyim to the boy. In other words, nothing's taken place here. It's not like the other case you said before. I'm confirming it, I'm breaking it. I only want it to be, I only want the confirmation to work if it's actually broken. So we say over there, the psak was that no, he really wanted the afara more. Over here, he says, I'm doing Mekayim it and I'm breaking it both at the same time. So according to the Ran, the psak over here is nothing works. I feel about Sachaseno, just like the case where he married the two sisters simultaneously, neither one is married. It doesn't work at all. It's not like it's a suffix and you say suffocacious ish and she need to get maybe. No. Nothing works at all. The Ran says the same thing over here. Like it's on cloud, 2 lines from the bottom of the page, and afterwards he can do whatever he wants. It has nothing's happened. He can break it or he can confirm that day. He doesn't like what the Rambam said. The Rambam says that Hakama is chal. He learns the Gemara differently. And unfortunately, I'll talk about the Rambam, what's shot in the Rambam, because that when you say he wants to make a difference, it's complicated. He wants to say, when we say technically it doesn't work one after the other, it's not that the two things are contradictory. It's not like the two, you can't marry one sister, you can't marry. In the case of the cancellation and the confirmation, those two things are opposite ideas. Are you confirming, you canceling it? The case of the two sisters. Right. Or it's not like that one thing, they're both valid. You can marry either sister, but once you marry one, that prevents the other one from marrying. So the two things aren't contradictory logically. So it makes a difference over there. And therefore the Rambam says that the psak over here it's not exactly like the case of the two sisters. The Ran learns that's like the case of the two sisters. It doesn't work at all. This doesn't work at all. You can do whatever you want right now. But according to the Rambam, no, it's not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same. And it doesn't work the vasachas, but hakama maybe there is. That's how he lives. Okay, before we grapple with that. Boy Rabbah, back in the Gemara, the third line.
The Rambam holds that to be Makai, right? Is if you do nothing, if you've done nothing.
Yeah, but you have to
wait. If the father does nothing, right? Then it's
Mekuyim the next day. Yeah, we're talking about the same day, but I'm talking about on the same day. According to the Ran, nothing's happening. Right.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah, nothing's happening. No, according to the Ran says nothing's happened. So now you have a choice. The rest of the day, you can either break it or confirm it. What you've done so far is nothing. The Rambam says no. That we saw from over there. That's when it doesn't work because they're not really contradictory. But over here with the contradictory, presumably since he mentioned the Hakama first, the Hakama is chal. That's how the Rambam learns. But it's unfortunately grapple with that. Boy Rabbah, 3 lines from the bottom page in the Gemara. That's back in the Gemara. 3 lines from the page. Boy Rabbah, Kaim L'chi Hayom Mao. Now, so far, all these questions that we've raised have been answered, whether Afar is chal, or in this case, according to Ran, neither one is chal. Boy Rabbah, Kaim L'chi Hayom Mao. he says, I'm confirming it to you today, like today only. Today I'm confirming. Mao. Me and command Omer is he effectively saying, I'm only confirming it for today. Remember, we said before we're going to bring up that case where you're makayim it for 1 hour, and then I want it to be broken. For 1 hour, I want you know what, you made an error. You should live with it for an hour. See what it's like, knowing that you can't do something, you can't eat something. It's one thing if you don't eat because you just didn't eat, but it's something if somebody tells you can't eat, it's forbidden to eat, that makes it's worse, right? So maybe for 1 hour, I'm confirming it, and then afterwards it's broken, that we can understand. But over here, he just said, I'm makayim it to you. Doesn't mean to say effectively, I'm breaking it tomorrow. Oh, Dilma Alama, he didn't say that. Imtim Salomer, an ayin amalafna, Imtim Salomer, halo amala. He didn't say, he didn't say to you, I'm breaking it tomorrow. So maybe it just stays confirmed. Let's say, now, the kasha is not exactly Imtim Salomer. In other words, we're assuming from this, we're saying he didn't say I'm breaking it tomorrow. It's mashma that if he would say I'm confirming it today and breaking it tomorrow, that would work. That's what it seems like. But now the Gemara explains let's say he says I'm breaking it to you tomorrow. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm breaking it to you tomorrow. What? Mao. Me mean and you say, wait a minute, I'm breaking it to you tomorrow. Tomorrow it's too late. Once he doesn't do anything today, it's confirmed automatically. Me I mean for today because effectively he's today. Oh, he didn't say I'm makayim today. When he says maybe he means today. If he just says I'm breaking it to you tomorrow, does that mean I'm confirming it today? Does that mean I'm confirming it today? Or maybe since he didn't say I'm confirming it today, maybe means effectively I'm breaking it as of tomorrow, but it's really breaking it as of today. Now these questions, but from the second question, it's mashma that if he would say I'm confirming it today and breaking it tomorrow, it's no good, right? I'm confirming it today and breaking it tomorrow, it's not a good hafara. In the first case, when he said I'm breaking it, I'm confirming it today, the question is, well, is he breaking it tomorrow? Mashma, because I'm confirming it today and breaking it tomorrow, it's broken. Or do you say, no, he didn't say I'm breaking it tomorrow, just I'm confirming it today. From the second question, when he said I'm breaking it tomorrow, does he mean to say I'm confirming it today? And what? And that would work? No, it wouldn't work according to this question. In other words, the Ran says that Rav is asking the questions both ways. He's not sure anyway how it works. It's not like he's assuming that from the first question, the assumption is if he breaks it today and confirms, and if he confirms it today and breaks it tomorrow, that would work. That's what it sounds like. From the second question, Mashma, then no, that wouldn't work. Because he said, I'm breaking it tomorrow. Does he mean to say, I'm confirming it today, in which case he can't break it tomorrow? Since he didn't say I'm confirming it today, when he says I'm breaking it tomorrow, it really means from today. He's breaking it. Both questions stand. Do you say what? When he says I'm breaking it tomorrow, he didn't say anything about today, but it's effectively like he's confirming it today. And since he's confirming it today, he can't break it tomorrow. Because once you go into tomorrow, it's confirmed. It's too late to break. But let's say he says Kaim L'chi Shaw. I'm confirming it for 1 hour, 10 o'clock in the morning. You made the neder now, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm confirming for an hour. What do you say then? Am I effectively saying, I'm confirming it for 1 hour? Is he effectively saying I'm breaking it after an hour? Oh, Dilma, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. What happens if he actually said, I'm confirming it for 10 o'clock and I'm breaking it at 11 o'clock? Do you say once he confirmed that it's too late, you can't change it? Since you could confirm it the whole day, you have the whole day. For the whole day, you have 1 day to confirm or cancel. As we said, if he doesn't do anything that day, shasak, if he was quiet, right? Shasak in Hechrish law, he was quiet for the whole day, then it's automatically established, it's automatically confirmed. But he has the whole day. So if he says the first question was here in this series, I confirm it for 1 hour at 10 o'clock. Is he effectively saying I'm canceling it at 11 o'clock? Or he didn't say that. What happens if he actually says I'm confirming it at 10 o'clock and then I'm breaking it? My Omerla. He actually said it, Omerla my. If he says I'm confirming it at 10 and I'm canceling it at 11. The whole day he's capable to do it. If he says I'm breaking it after an hour, it does help. Toshma. So we want to bring, this is the question. This question is the best question. I mean, this question makes the most sense. Since he holds day, once you confirm it, can you break it afterwards? Can I say I'm confirming it for an hour and then I'm breaking it afterwards? Or do you say, no, once you confirmed it, it's confirmed? Tashma, let's bring a proof from this. Hareini Nazira. A woman says, I'd like to be a Nazira. I'd like to be a Nazirite. Can't drink wine, can't shave it, can't cut her hair, etc. So can't become Tameh. A woman could become Tameh, but in general, even a Baskoin, but a Nazira can't. So Hareini Nazira, V'shama Bala, and her husband, V'omar V'ani, me too. Ani, and me, and I, and me, or and I, right? V'omar V'ani. Ein yochel, he can't break it. Right? He can't break the net. Once he said Vani, Vamai, name of Vani, right? Said Vani do Amar al Nafshay. I'd like to be one too. Davi Nazir, Avalrani Nazira Dila, but her Naziris, right? Her Naziris, Shachas Kaim, Malacha Shoy boy life. Why does he say that she's automatically a Nazir and can't be broken? Maybe when he says Vani means he's talking about himself, but her Naziris maybe for an hour, yes. Remember, it gets and Naziris, as we'll see, is a kind of a netter. And maybe he has one day to either confirm or deny, just like a Naziris is a kind of a netter. So if she says she's a Nazir, he could break it off also. It's certainly Beino LeBeinot affects their marriage, and it's also a nefesh. Avalarei Nazir Dilah, Shachas Kaim, maybe he can break it not. So Amai Nochalev, why can't he break it? Labishim to keep the Kaimo. Once he's Mekayim, it's Mukuyim. Once he confirms it, it's confirmed. And even if he says I'm Mekayim it for 1 hour and I'm breaking it after now, that doesn't help. So what do you see over here? You can't do that. You can't say I'm confirming it that I'm not ein yochalefer. So that could be not no sabr. Could be that he holds a reason where he says va'ani, you can't break it. Is kol va'ani command omer kaim l'chila dami. Maybe the word va'ani, I confirm it. Me too. You're a Nazir. Me too. Maybe when he says ani, it's such a strong lashon. It's as if he says I'm confirming forever. So therefore, maybe only in that case does va'ani so strong because he said I'm confirming it forever. But indeed, if he says I'm confirming your netter for an hour and I'm breaking it after an hour, and it doesn't have anything, if he doesn't makes the difference if I'm confirming for an hour, he doesn't have to say at the same time that I'm breaking it after an hour. I'm confirming for an hour. After an hour, he says I'm breaking it. Would that help or not? We don't know. So therefore, the Ran says you can't prove it. The Einach maybe could. It's as if he said I'm coming forever. Therefore, the question is not decided. Therefore, at the end, you can't break it. Why? We're not sure. And all these questions, we say Suffolk Nidrim is l'chumra, right? We have l'chumra. Therefore, if he confirms it for an hour, even if he says I'm confirming for an hour and 11 o'clock, I want to break it, maybe that doesn't work. And therefore, you can't break it. You can't cancel it, right? He didn't say the lashon of what? I'm only confirming it if it's also broken. He didn't do that lashon. That lashon might work, but when he just says I'm confirming for an hour, maybe he can't cancel it afterwards. All right, tomorrow we'll pick it up from the Mishnah. Meretz Hashem. Have a good day, everybody. Fast begins tomorrow at 5:04.